Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I cannot believe that baby girl is here. It has been a wild first week. I am 1 week postpartum. So it's January 18th. I had Quinn on January 11th, so last Monday. And I just wanted to give you guys a 1 week postpartum update. Overall, things have been very emotional and a little challenging. I now have 2 under 2 and the newborn days are no joke. Like, I totally forgot about all the things that go along with having a newborn. But anyway, let's just jump right into a bunch of things. I'm going to talk about how I'm feeling physically after the C-section. I had a scheduled C-section at 39 weeks and 3 days if you guys are new here. And also I have a 21-month-old son named Chase and now a baby girl named Quinn. So in terms of the C-section, I mentioned in my birth vlog, I'll link that down below in case you're interested in watching, but I feel like the second day after my C-section was the hardest and most painful. At that point, the kind of like the meds that they gave, and I think they put like some painkillers into my spinal tap is what they said. So those finally wore off after 24 hours, and towards the middle and end of the second day, I was in, I would say, moderate pain, like probably like a 5 on the pain scale. And I was taking ibuprofen, that's what they gave me in the hospital. I also felt a lot more cramping than I did with my first C-section. I think this is normal. A friend of mine said that she felt the same way. So I just had to make sure that throughout that first week that I was taking my ibuprofen after I came home from the hospital, and in the hospital too, kind of like every 6 hours like they recommended, just so that I was staying like as most comfortable as I could. I was walking around the second day. So the first day I was in bed the entire time and I did not get up at all. I had a catheter in and an IV, so I couldn't really go anywhere anyway. But by the second day, once they removed the catheter and the IV, I was able to get up and take a shower. And I also took like a couple of laps around the labor and delivery floor, and I felt really good. But I might have overexerted myself, and that's probably why I was in a little more pain. But then the third day is when we came home from the hospital. I was still in a little bit of pain, but it wasn't too bad. And then every day since then, things started to get better and better. My doctor actually prescribed Tylenol with codeine. I had an issue getting it at my pharmacy for some reason. They said to just go to a different pharmacy, but at that point, it was about 4 days after I had Quinn, and the pain was not so bad that I needed to take anything more than the ibuprofen. So now, a week later, I'm only taking the ibuprofen maybe like once or twice a day. I totally forget to take it, and I'm obviously not in enough pain. I feel great right now. I think I took one 6 hours ago. So when I was up with Quinn, maybe around like 4 a.m. and it's 1 o'clock now. So I don't know, you do the math. But I'm feeling really good. I also have been moving around a lot more than I probably should. So I actually went upstairs to say goodnight to Chase like the third night that we came home. I've been lifting him up. I have vacuumed our kitchen floor. I've Swiffered our kitchen floor. I've made the bed. I've lifted things that are probably heavier than my newborn. So it's probably not recommended, but I'm also a person that hates relying on other people to do things. And I'm also like cleaning and picking up and tidying up really just like calms me and like reduces my anxiety. So I've been doing all of that stuff, and I haven't felt, you know, any extra like pain or soreness because of that. So I think I'm okay. It makes me feel like I'm healing well and on the mend. In terms of like bleeding, I know like if you've never had a C-section before, you probably don't know this if you've only had like a vaginal birth, but the bleeding is a lot less with a C-section than with a natural birth. So at this point, I am only wearing a little panty liner, and there's not much that's coming out. Occasionally, there's like a clot of blood when I go pee or something, or if I have been moving around a lot, I've noticed that like there's more of like it's not even a gush, like there's just a little more blood than normal, but like a panty liner is all that I need. So that, if that's interesting to anybody or common, just be aware. For me, that was my experience. Also, like in terms of my body, I felt like the first few days, obviously after you give birth, whichever way you do, you still look pregnant. And I feel like right now my stomach has actually gone down a lot more now that it's been about a week. I would say that I still have a belly. I don't think that I look pregnant. I'll show you, I'll do a shot in the mirror of what my stomach looks like now, but I believe that I've lost about 15 pounds. So I gained a total of 30, and now a week later I've lost about 15. So that's probably all of the extra fluid and obviously the weight of the baby, the placenta, like all of that stuff. So I obviously have a lot, like a long way to go. 15 pounds. I feel like the last 10 is always the toughest to get rid of. At least that's what happened for me when I had Chase the first time around, but I'm in no hurry. I am not putting any pressure on myself to lose weight or, you know, try to get back into a certain pants or whatever. I've mostly been just wearing my pregnancy like yoga pants, my leggings, because that's what's comfortable for me right now. And I do have a few pairs of sweatpants that are like a size up from my normal size that are still a little bit snug around my waist because I do have a belly at this point still, but they're more comfortable. So that's really what is going on physically with my body. In terms of kind of like emotionally, I know that like people don't talk about this a lot, but like the fourth trimester is really difficult, and I experienced a lot of like emotions, especially like with hormones raging and you just had a baby and like adjusting, and I was super emotional the first couple days after I got home from the hospital. So in the hospital, I actually was okay. I feel like I blocked out of a lot of my emotions. I didn't really cry that much. I don't know why. I feel like I remember crying a lot more in the hospital with Chase than I did with Quinn. But as soon as I got home, and it's like I saw my mom, I saw Chase, and in my birth vlog, I show when we get home from the hospital, like seeing Chase for the first time. He was with my mom while we were there, and that was the first time that he's really been with somebody else other than us while he remembers it. Like we left him with my mother-in-law when he was 3 months old, but obviously he doesn't remember. But so it was a very emotional coming home, and you know, for Chase meeting Quinn and for Chase seeing us after being away for like 3 days. I thought it was gonna be this like beautiful, because you watch the videos, like I've seen so many videos of like coming home and like meeting the sibling for the first time, and Chase is 21 months, so I thought it was gonna be like he was gonna hug us and love on us and be so excited, and it was the complete opposite. He literally like wanted only my mom to hold him, was like turning away from me and Pete, like swatting us away, wanted nothing to do with the baby. It was so heartbreaking for me. Like thinking about it now, like it makes me want to cry. But like obviously there's a lot of changes going on, and even the first couple days that we were home, Chase wanted nothing to do with me, like nothing to do with me. But what was interesting is that like when I would go in the room to like, you know, feed Quinn or something like that, he would be saying mommy, 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 and then I would come out to see him and he would just like turn his head away, run over to Pete or run over to my mom. So like I think it's so funny, like my pediatrician, she kind of compared it to like if Pete, your husband, my husband, were to bring home like a new wife and say like, hey, everything's great. This is our new wife. She's living with us. You have to deal with it. Like, everyone should be happy. And clearly, no, nobody's happy about that. So, happy to report though that Chase has started to warm up. Like after my mom left, which was such an emotional experience too. My mom lives in New Jersey, so she flew out. She just left this Saturday. So it was extremely emotional having, you know, that support of my mom being with us and like helping out with Chase and like being, you know, just a presence, like a happy, like positive presence and like a support system. See, I'm getting emotional. That was like tacking on to the like emotional feelings that I had in, you know, wrapped up with all of this stuff that I was feeling about like having a new family member and Chase and worrying about him. So it was really tough for me, like having my mom leave. And I think like the mom guilt that I felt in those first few days, like about Chase and not being able to like play with him and pick him up and devote my whole attention to him, like that really was tough on me, like so hard. But now that it's been a week, my mom is gone, we're kind of back into a routine. Like Chase's whole demeanor has totally shifted. He's, you know, not running away from me, like he's interested in the baby. When she cries, he always is like, baby, and like wants to see her. He's always asking about her. He loves, like, I like to try to give him little tasks with her because it makes him feel like accomplished and like part of, you know, the whole like family and the process and like getting to know her and stuff. And so he loves to like give her a wub or give her a passy and like he'll clap his hands and say yay. We just like encourage him to do stuff like to help out with her, which is really great. But what I was gonna say is that we dropped him off at daycare today. So he was out of daycare for a full week while my mom was taking care of him. And I was kind of worried about that. Like, is the transition back to daycare gonna be weird or hard or whatever? But Pete dropped him off and he said that when he got to the front door and like realized where he was, he like, this makes me cry because it makes me so happy. But he gave Pete like the biggest smile, like, he was happy to be back at daycare and he loves it there. So that just made like my heart so happy, like that he, you know, he's like back in a routine and he's like happy to be like at school with his like little friends and like doing activities and stuff like that. And you know, it's been hard for me to give him attention, and I know that like when he's at daycare, he's in just such good hands. So it makes me happy that he's happy. And also that like while I'm here and like just with Quinn during the day and like Pete too, we're able to bond with her kind of in the same way that we gave like attention to Chase when he was born. Like obviously he was our first, so it was all about him. And like I would have such mom guilt about like spreading the love, you know, it's a real thing. And it's really tough, but little like wins like that just, oh, they get to me. Anyway, like I should have probably left this part till the end so that I'm not like freaking red-faced and crying for the entire time. But there's a few other things that I wanted to mention in terms of just like 1 week postpartum. So let's put the emotional stuff aside. Just like some random stuff that I wanted to talk about. Oh, so actually, before we emotionally disconnect from like crying and stuff like that, I wanted to just mention another breakdown that I had when I got Quinn home, and it has to do with like breastfeeding. So in the hospital, she latched and she like had a really good latch and everything like that, and give her some formula just because I was worried that she wasn't getting enough like colostrum. And I know that they say that that's all that the baby needs in the first couple days because they're stomach is like the size of a dime, but you know, Chase was a preemie and we gave him formula in the hospital. So I was just like trying to be extra careful, and we did that for her as well. So I had like really high hopes for breastfeeding because she was latching and everything like that. Chase never was able to latch. I tried multiple times and like used a nipple shield and things like that, and just it never worked out. So I ended up with Chase pumping and giving him bottles of breast milk, but also supplementing with formula because he was born at 37 weeks and like he really needed to get back up to like a healthy weight and like progress and everything. So that's what our pediatrician said to do with him. But for her, I was excited that she was latching, and like I thought that the breastfeeding thing might actually work. So when I got home and my milk actually came in, I tried to breastfeed and she like wasn't having it. And I think my boobs were just like too hard and she couldn't latch. So I ended up like pumping and then putting her like to the boob, and it worked. Like she latched, it was great. Like, then I tried to do it again like later on in the day. And so the second time that we tried, it was just like a complete fail. Like, I don't know what happened, but she was not able to latch at all. She was, I also had ordered nipple shields because apparently my nipples are flat. So that's why the latch problem. But she like was just crying uncontrollably because she was so hungry. She couldn't latch, not with the nipple shield, not without anything. And like she was so in a frenzy, like she couldn't even calm down. And it literally like broke my heart. I was like, forget this, I can't deal with it. Like, I remember the emotional toll that like the pressure of breastfeeding put on me with Chase, the first. And I was like, I mentally right now, and like I'm so hormonal, I'm so emotional, like everything is like hitting me at the same time. I'm like tired too. I just like had to say at that point, I can't put myself through this. I can't watch her scream her head off because she's so hungry and she can't latch. So I literally, I think that was like, what was it? Maybe like the 4th day or something, that I just said, I'm just not doing the breastfeeding thing. I'm not gonna attempt it again. I was comfortable pumping with Chase and I'm comfortable doing that with her. I'm also like I like a schedule and I like to know how much she's eating. So being able to pump and then know like, hey, she's getting 3 ounces, she's getting 2 ounces, or how much she's drinking every, you know, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whenever she's feeding. It just gives me peace of mind. She's fine with the bottles, like she's happy with it. So that's what we're doing. And I just wanted to like throw that out there for anybody who is struggling with breastfeeding. Oh, another reason why she might have had trouble latching is that after we got home from the hospital, my boobs and nipples were so sore and cracked and bleeding that it was so painful. So I had stopped even attempting to breastfeed, I think the first day or 2 that I was home. So maybe this was like the 5th day that I had tried again to breastfeed her and had the disaster happen. So I just wanted to let anybody out there know that like fed is best. However you feed your baby is the right way. And that's the way, whatever works for you and your newborn, like you gotta go that route. And there's no shame in not being able to breastfeed or like trying and switching over to formula or like trying to pump. And if pumping works, that's great. Like that's what I'm doing right now. I'm exclusively pumping. She's not having any formula. But if you have chosen the route to go is formula for you because it makes you mentally a happier person, it's easier, like your husband can help out, other people, your family and friends can help out, like do it. Do not beat yourself up, especially when you are in such a fragile emotional state. Like the last thing that you should do is make it worse by trying to like push something that's just clearly not working. But for all of you breastfeeding mamas and like whatever you figured out that works for you, that's amazing. And I'm happy for you. And like, I wish that I could have had that experience, but I also don't mind that I am not breastfeeding and pumping is what we're doing. So that's that. So basically, like, I'm exclusively pumping. I haven't had, like, with Chase, I had so much breast milk, and I don't know if that's because he was eating less, because he was born early or what, but like I found in the last few days that I'm literally like, I've either been like having just enough for each feed or having like one additional feed for her. I think that's because I'm not pumping enough. So I'd been pumping like maybe 5 to 7 times a day. I think I need to pump every like 2 hours. So that'll drastically increase my supply. And I've already seen that. And when I do pump, I'm getting like about 4 to 5 ounces each time total. So like both, I do both at the same time. And then I get about 4 to 5 ounces. And Quinn, during the day, she kind of cluster feeds. Like she'll do like 2 and then she'll stop, and then an hour later she'll have another ounce, and then maybe an hour after that she'll have like a half an ounce, and then she'll take a long nap like for 3 or like 3.5 hours, and then when she gets up she'll have like 3 ounces. But at night she's really good. Like last night she slept for like 3.5 hours, woke up, drank 4 ounces, slept for another 3.5 hours, woke up and had another like 3 ounces. So that's the pumping. Okay, so almost towards the end of this, I just wanted to mention a couple of just like minor things that I'm going through that have kind of helped with my mental health. So because like the newborns, you know, there's no schedule, and I have a really hard time adjusting to not having a schedule. I like to be like on track with stuff. So in order and to like just make me a happier person, I've just been trying to do things that I used to do like to keep me on schedule. So just like tidying up the kitchen, doing the dishes. When I get up for the day, changing out of my pajamas and putting on an actual outfit, curling my hair, putting a little mascara on, a little bit of foundation on, making YouTube videos, and just like watching. So me and Pete like to watch Suits, and we're like, I forget what season we're on, but we're on like 6 or 7. But watching an episode of Suits at night after, you know, Chase is down and she's napping or something like that. Just keeping as much normalcy has really helped me mentally during this very like up and down emotional time. So I would just like, if I were to give anybody some advice, like especially new moms, like the newborn phase is very, very difficult. It's definitely gonna try you in a lot of ways. So just keeping things that make you happy as part of your schedule, even though everything is like out of whack, might really help you out, because it really helps me out. Also for me, just like adjusting to 2 under 2 has been kind of a struggle. Like I'm so thankful that Chase is in daycare, but when he was just home and it was the 4 of us this past weekend, it's been really hard just to kind of like, you know, he's 21 months, so he's very busy and he requires a lot of attention, and he always wants to be playing or doing something, going to the park, doing toys, eating snacks. All of that stuff has been really hard having a newborn where you also have to like constantly be attending to. I've just been trying to do things for myself that kind of just like keep myself in a routine and like doing and happy overall. So that's really the update that I have, like physically, mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. The last thing I wanted to do was just show how my postpartum, like 1 week postpartum, my belly looks like. And I'll also show you like I won't show you my actual C-section because there's a bandage over it, but I'll show you that, which was different this time. They put this big bandage over my incision, and they didn't do that. I had a different doctor the first time. They didn't do that for me. They just like sewed everything up and did this surgical glue over it. So I'm curious to see like when I go back to have my like 2-week post-op appointment with my OB. I'm really curious to see how my incision looks and if it's different than my first one or whatnot, if it's healed better. So just gonna take you into Quinn's room because she's actually in the bassinet right now sleeping. So here's like what I look like, just me with clothes on. And like these are maternity leggings. This is like the belly that I have right now. All right, so this is literally like my belly, and these are some lovely granny panties that I have that are meant for C-sections, but there's like a protrusion here. Like I definitely still have a lot of swelling. This is what it kind of looks like from the front. Hopefully you guys can see. I still have like an outie belly button here. Here's the other side. And then this is like, without kind of showing you too much, this is the bandage that they put over my incision. It's honestly kind of annoying, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? So I'm gonna get this removed next Monday when I go for my first appointment. This is it. All right, guys, so that is my 1-week postpartum update. I'm sorry that you can't see baby Quinn yet. I don't want to disturb her while she's sleeping, but I definitely am planning to do like a day in the life with the newborn, or like 24 hours with the newborn, so you can see kind of like what schedule we're on and like how often I'm pumping and all that other like raw stuff. Didn't do that with Chase, and I really regret it because I wish I had those videos to look back on and be like, oh yeah, my life, I was freaking, everything was crazy. But okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you all who have followed me through my pregnancy journey. I hope you stick with me through this kind of like 2 under 2 having a newborn phase of my life. Congrats to all the pregnant mamas out there. I hope everybody is doing well and having a happy, healthy pregnancy. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you on this like journey into motherhood with a second little one. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.